Hey folks, Fox here. We've got Eldar 3rd edition. Just want to talk a little bit about the codex and just a smidgen about the rulebook. I even have some Dark Eldar stuff that I want to show you guys too. So the actual rulebook, kind of like the previous edition, 2nd edition, had not only the rules in it, but there was also various different rules for the different armies. So, go to the back here. There's some mission stuff that I want to talk about. But in the back of the book here, we had everything from Space Marines, you had Imperial Guard, which is a little ways in the back, you had Dark Eldar, and some of your art's pretty crazy. And we had our Tyranids. This is where Gene Stealers actually joined the Hive Fleet. So, jumping into it, so we had the Eldar. So this is where force organization charts actually came around. And they took out a few things like the Exodites and a lot of the pirates too. So those were taken out as well. And this is where Warp Spider's weapons changed. And also where the Star Cannons changed a bit. Star Cannons were a lot more powerful in 3rd edition. But, you know, Dire Avengers were troops. Lots of really cool stuff. I think jet bikes were still fast. Yeah, jet bikes were still fast attack. So, some pretty cool things. The Fire Prism and Falcon were put into the Codex. Well, this book. And basically you use this until you got yourself the Codex. And what I really liked about this is you could actually try an army out before you got the Codex, or at least you could read a little bit about the armies and have kind of an idea of what you're going to be going up against. So, ton of fluff. It's actually a soft cover book, which was kind of interesting, kind of like the previous ones. This does show, you know, GW kind of getting a little bit better over the years. Some fantastic color art. And it goes through the different phases. This was pretty, it was laid out really nicely too. But I wanted to get to the, so all the fluff. There's a really neat thing in here about Necrons being unknown at the time. I thought that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool. Even had Kroot in there. So before you started, alright, you had selected your army and everything in your missions and stuff. So there was your force organization chart. That's where it first came in. It was 3rd edition. And all the missions that you had in this book. Cleansing missions, patrols, night fighting, recons, rescue missions, taken holds, bunkers, and meat grinders. A lot of this stuff is all in the supplements now. So some really neat actual board setups. Raids. You'll actually see that some of the force organization charts were different depending on what battles you were going into as well. So kind of like Planet Strike now. So some really neat layouts to the different maps and some different mission objectives. It's not always just, you know, kill the other guy. Sometimes it was get your guy from one side of the table to the other without being slaughtered. Blitzes and breakouts. So some really great stuff. I also like the campaign aspect of this book. So it told you various different, or gave you an example of how you could do a tree campaign, where you can start off with one and it'll break down depending on the winning and losing side. Had roster cards where you could track how well your units are doing and give them little boosts, pay, you know, earning points throughout the games, buying extra units, some honors for vehicles, characters, and that's that. So that was the rule book. I just wanted to kind of make mention of it, talk a little bit about it. It's seen better days. Even Sisters were in here, which was kind of cool. So it's such a shame that GW doesn't do something similar to this to the rule book. Just a really basic breakdown of what the armies are currently, and then allow you to buy the Codex later, you know, to really have a lot more fun and get the real good rules. It's just basic stuff in there. So the artwork on the 3rd edition Codex was really nice. I really liked that. There were some special characters in here which were kind of neat. Some fantastic fluff, the armory. The layout wasn't that great, but I did like how they did the force organization with the different Eldar runes. That was pretty cool. And there's some really nice water. I can't remember what they're called. Splash art in the back. Watermarks. Watermarks. I really like the watermarks. So, different headquarters, elites. Actually, yeah, warp spiders were actually elites back in the day, too. That was kind of neat. Striking scorpions, howling banshees, fire dragons, troops. You had your rangers, you had your guardians, and you had your dire avengers. And your guardian defender squads, storm guardians. Jet bikes were fast attack back then. Here's that wave serpent coming out for the first time. So, heavy supports. So, weapon batteries, dark reapers, are all part of heavy support. Just like they are now. Some really nice painting guides. And what was really cool is they actually had an Art of War section where it gave you ideas of different types of armies you could kind of build around, like a resilient army, how to kind of field it and try it out. You'll notice there's not a lot of vehicles in that one for some bizarre reason. A fast army, one that moves quickly and attacking right in the face of the enemy. And then more of a firepower army. You don't see many falcons on the table anymore. They're not that great, unfortunately. Especially with the wave serpent now. Beautiful art. Really nice painting. Shows you how to do gems. I gotta do that eventually with mine. So lazy. This Viper's pretty crazy. Anyways, jumping into the back, we had some special characters, namely Eldrad. Well, the psychic powers. Eldrad's back here. We had a girl from Yandin there. I think she's in the supplement now. I have the supplement, I haven't even read through it yet. I don't think I'll ever use it. I just want it for the fluff. And then, of course, Fireheart. That crazy badass guy with the million special rules. It's kind of like almost on a chariot there. But it's pretty wicked. Love to see him back in the game. And your Phoenix Lords and everything. The layout of this book is pretty bad. I love this thing. It's pretty neat. It's got some Eldar and Dark Eldar runes in it. Then it came out with the Craft World Codex. So it actually focused, very, very small. Like $15, $12 or something back when I picked this up. But it was really neat. Like Yandin, it had stuff like your Wraith Guard, your Wraith Lords were all of your troops. Guardian, Storm Guardians were fast attack. Guardian Defenders were actually heavy support. Dire Avengers and Rangers were actually elites, just because of how rare they are, or were. Samhan had extra fast attacks, so you can get those jet bikes out there. Had stuff about Wild Rider Chiefs and Kinsmen. More fantastic art. And I can never pronounce that, but the Rangers, they had some kind of boosts. Some special rules. Expert marksmanship. Biltan, because their main focus was aspect warriors. So all their aspects were troop choices. And all of the regular guardians and everything were all elite choices. So it's kind of a neat reversal. Love to see a supplement like this back out. So all the different stats for them. For the court, Ulthuii. This is what I really loved about Ulthuii, because back in the day, our Guardians, and I adore Guardians, were all weapon skill, blitz skill 3. But if you had Ulthuii and you had Defenders and Storm Guardians, either your blitz skill or weapon skill went up by 1. And then, of course, the Farseer Council, or Seer Council, was introduced. Some special rules. Last little kind of thing to talk about. This was always fun. The Dark Eldar Codex. There was 2 actually released at the time. So the Dark Eldar Codex and then the 2nd edition Dark Eldar Codex. What a waste of money that was buying that. So really, it was just it was an okay codex. Things were pretty inexpensive for the most part. You had special characters. You actually had Cruella de Vil, which was an interesting play on Cruella de Vil. Force Org. had the different Eldar, Dark Eldar tactics, the counterattacks, envelops, and flanking attacks, which were kind of neat. Some nice art, all the different cabals and covens and whatnot. The weapons, but what I really... Vect. So sad to see him gone. We're probably going to get a supplement. There's Cruella. Lilith. The Decapitator, he's gone too. That's okay. We'll get some other stuff. But this was kind of neat. They had an actual raid, a slave raid in this, and some different rules for it. But overall, it was a neat dex, and this second edition one was pretty much the same thing. Just a few minor changes. Not a lot, though. A few little things here and there, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, with that said, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this little show and tell here with the Eldar and Dark Eldar of 3rd edition. The day when Star Cannons were awesome. Anyways, with that said, I will talk to you guys later. Bye now.